After 5.5 years away from the anime, the girl who left Ash to better herself in Hoenn is finally back, so let's talk about it. Hey everyone, it's Charles. How are you today? Anytime I've discussed exactly how we might see Serena make her return in Pokemon Journeys, Johnny Joe has peppered my videos with comments saying that we are all dreamers and that the writers would never revisit her character after that game-changing Ash Ketchum kiss. But guess what, Buttercup? She's back. We've actually known about Serena's return for a few days now due to the leak of a Japanese magazine poster showcasing her with Chloe and Alicia over on Twitter, but I wanted to wait until the episode came out since all parties involved on the production side of the anime went to great lengths to keep her return under wraps and make the comeback a big surprise. But the episode is finally out and it is an absolute banger. So today's plan is to break down Serena's return to the anime alongside the other elements of Pokemon Journeys episode 105 that will probably be completely overshadowed by her return, but were also rather fantastic. And as always, it is going to be a fun time, so kindly subscribe, give that like button a swirly for the YouTube algorithm, and let's jump right in. The episode kicks off with Krissa telling Chloe about a Sylveon trainer lighting up Lily Cove City's contest scene over in Hoenn, and Chad Dad of the Year Professor Cerise encourages Chloe to go check out the situation. Apparently, Ash and Go are already there on a trip, so she makes plans to link up with them and heads out. Ever since episode 49, Chloe and Eevee's meetings with each of the known evolutions have been at the crux of her character development, with Eevee trying to determine which evolution to evolve into, and Chloe gaining new insights from each evolution trainer she interacts with as she struggles to find her own way forward in life. Sylveon was the last evolution on their checklist, and when it comes to renowned Sylveon trainers in the anime, well, based on the episode's title, Eevee and Sylveon Encounters and Reunions, one simply had to suspect that this Sylveon belonged to Serena. That said, Serena was strangely absent from all episode previews and official promotional materials leading up to release day, with Wallace and his niece Licia instead positioned as the star support characters of the episode. Long story short, we got Tobey Maguire minus the wrinkles and underground gambling. And it worked, because Wallace and Licia actually ended up playing much less significant roles than we were led to believe that they would, freeing up a lot of screen time for suspect numero uno. Licia, who made her anime debut, basically served one purpose: to introduce Chloe to the contest scene in Lily Cove City and convince her to participate in an upcoming contest. She also competed in the episode's contest, but that's about it. Though I must say the spoiled niece vibes were on point, the character design was on point, and Altaria was a little cutie. Similarly, Wallace performed one important function to distract Ash and Go from actually making it to Chloe's contest venue, effectively keeping Ash unaware of Serena's presence in the city until a very special scene near the end of the episode. Like Licia, Wallace's role was fairly minor, but his interactions with the boys were genuinely hilarious. He delighted us with references to Stephen Stone, the man himself, a flashback of May and Dawn competing in the Wallace Cup, and by bestowing upon Ash a rain badge cut in the style of the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire remakes when Ash finally beat him. Ash had previously received a rain badge from Yuan in Advanced Generation, but why not double down on the rain badge bling? Anyways, while Licia and Wallace both injected a hefty dose of spice and fun into the episode, the main stage act would take everything to the next level. Soon after her encounter with Licia, Chloe's Eevee runs to the seaside where it encounters the Sylveon Chloe had heard about from Krissa. And of course, its trainer is revealed to be none other than Serena. At a glance, we see that Serena has matured physically, and as soon as she opens her mouth, we begin to see how much she has grown as a person as well. A far cry from the roller coaster girl of Pokemon XY, Serena has become a modest, measured, and calm lady who speaks with intention, downplays Chloe's praise, and soon emerges as a very valuable role model to her. During their time together by the ocean, Serena answers Chloe's questions about the contest scene, describing how she herself discovered her passion for performing and how she is aiming to be a performer who truly gives others strength through her performances. The episode also establishes a very clear parallel between the Chloe of today and the Serena of yesterday, when Chloe explains that just like Eevee, she simply doesn't know how to move forward. Serena surprises Chloe by revealing that she used to be just like her, and that she went out traveling without any dreams or goals of her own, only to end up up finding herself in awe of the beauty of performances, after which she never looked back. She describes how incredible it is to chase your dreams, and that although it can be depressing when you fail, even these failures make the joy of success all the sweeter. And in a delicious nod to longtime fans, when Chloe expresses her concerns about whether or not she actually has what it takes to deliver in her upcoming contest, Serena encourages her with a variant of the very words that Ash spoke to her to lift her up back in Kalos. Words, part of which Ash himself inherited from Prima, way back in the Orange Islands. If you find yourself hesitating, then get moving, because even if you fail, you will be left with something. Nothing you do is a waste. And with that, she offers to help Chloe prepare for the contest. It was such an earnest, understated, and powerful conversation, but an absolute game changer for Chloe, much as the key conversations with Ash were for Serena back in XY. Indeed, whereas Ash mentored Serena as she struggled to find her footing in life way back then, Serena has now become that very same sort of mentor, lending her strength to someone who is just getting going. Following their conversation, Serena goes as far as to take Chloe to a store to help her choose a familiar looking costume for the upcoming contest, outfits Evie with a flower of the same style her own Evie used to wear, and begins to help her work on her performance. If wholesomeness was a crime, this episode would get a life sentence. Bear in mind that this entire time Go has been trying to meet up with Chloe, but has been unable to do so due to the antics of Ash Ketchum and the Fashion Man, who has been characterized a little bit differently than he has been in the past, but what a guy. As I was watching this episode, I seriously did wonder if they would stretch out the Wallace scenario all the way to the end to prevent Ash from even meeting Serena. However, they did finally end up meeting, and it was quite the special meeting indeed. But first, let me just say that the contest at the climax of the episode was a good time. Personally, I love contests as much as I love battles in the show, and it was a real pleasure seeing various no-names, Licia, Serena, and Chloe show their stuff on stage. From Serena encouraging Chloe backstage, to Evie capping off a montage of interactions with each of the evolutions it had interacted with a truly dazzling fairy wind, to the announcer acknowledging Serena decked out in a gorgeous new costume as a performer who had cemented her popularity across Kalos and now across Hoenn. Also, yay, Delphox. To Licia pulling out a stunning Mega Altaria power play, the entire ordeal was a hot treat. But I'll leave it to you to discover who won the contest. Moving forward, as Serena was seeing Chloe off at the seaside, with only 2 minutes left on the episode clock, the question of will Ash and Serena actually reunite was still up in the air. And then, just as the boat was taking off, Ash and Go race down the dock past Serena to board the boat with Chloe just as it departs for Kanto. Serena recognizes Ash immediately and calls out in surprise. Ash turns around, sees Serena, and happily calls back to her. However, the boat is already on its way out to sea, so there is no time for a proper reunion, and thus everything they wanted to say to each other has to be condensed into a very short but very meaningful exchange, in which they both reasserted that they are doing their best, and if one of them is aiming to be the best in their field, then the other will do the same. That they are both cheering for one another and for Chloe, and that they will meet again. The setup of the boat pulling Ash and Serena apart was a beautiful reference to the escalator pulling them apart at the end of XY, showing that even if they are meant to be together in some sense, at least for the time being, their adventures are pulling them in two different directions. And although the writers avoided revisiting certain aspects of that encounter, at least for the time being, we get the sense that there were a lot of words left unsaid as Serena stood on the docks, looking out to sea until dusk turned to dark, and the boat had nearly disappeared over the horizon, after which she turned around with a smile and cheerfully ran off toward her next adventure together with Sylveon. From Chloe taking a new step in her journey under Serena's guidance, to Professor Cerise nearly in tatters as he cheered for his daughter over the TV, to Licia's hometown fanbase passionately cheering her on with themed glow sticks, to Wallace being absolutely hilarious, and Ash totally forgetting about Chloe's performance, to the short but sweet reunion of Ash and Serena. Episode 105 of Pokemon Journeys was one of the most wholesome Pokemon episodes ever made, and I was just so happy to see the Sylveon Queen from Kalos back in action. But how about you?